To all the Democrats out there, I want to remind you, you asked for this. No one knew about the call between Donald Trump and Ukraine. Nobody cared, and it ultimately didn't go anywhere. There was no announcement. There were no investigations. It was done. And Donald Trump try as he might, nothing happened. Now, some might argue, oh, it only ended because Trump got caught. No, I disagree. The president of Ukraine didn't do anything. Okay? The story was that Joe Biden was corrupt or something to that effect because his son was corrupt. He was protecting his son. I don't care. The point is, we are now in Hunter Biden world, and Joe Biden is being dragged through the mud. But I will tell you one thing. I'd be willing to bet most of the Democrats who would watch a video like this don't like Joe Biden either. So in that regard, hey, it's a win-win for everybody, isn't it? Here's the story. Hunter Biden suspected of smoking crack in DC strip club's VIP room. You know why this is not surprising? Apparently, he got discharged for being found with a crack pipe or something. He returned a rental car, had a crack pipe in it. I don't know. Or they found cocaine in his system or something like that. I don't know. The dude clearly isn't all on the level. And now Joe Biden, and whatever it is he was trying to do, try as he might, I mean, he is the front runner for now. Well, this is going to be bad. Bad. Because I'll tell you what, if there's a narrative going around that Hunter Biden is corrupt and Joe is helping him, and you sprinkle a little crack on it, guess what? People are going to be more inclined to believe it. Now, you might argue none of it's true. Great. You could have let sleeping dogs lie, and this wouldn't be an issue. This is from 2018. Apparently, some strip club smelled burning styrofoam or something, and they knew what it was. And so they were like, hey, dude, you can't be doing this. All you had to do was just campaign on issues Americans cared about. Focus on the things you don't like about Trump that are policy-oriented and character-oriented instead of scandal after scandal that you can't prove. Instead, what happened was, maybe it was on purpose. Maybe Democrats were like, we got to get Biden out of the race because they want Bernie or Warren. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I got another story too. Barack Obama is saying Joe doesn't have it. All of this is surfacing now. I mean, the Obama stuff about Biden probably would have come up. It's a campaign, right? This maybe would have come up, I guess, Joe's running. But all of this interest in Hunter Biden is unearthed because they had to have impeachment. Because the whistleblower came out. So the whistleblower, man, you really helped Donald Trump. I'll tell you what. If Joe Biden, according to Bill Maher, is the only person who can beat Trump in Ohio, well, you just knocked him out of the race. Bravo. Because no one knew about Trump's phone call. Nobody cared about what Trump said to Zelensky. And neither did Zelensky, who did nothing in response to Trump saying, hey, do us a favor. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And then they say, oh, but Trump was withholding aid. Okay, you know what, man? Look, I get it. Maybe. Fine. Whatever. The point is, once you opened that can of worms, here's the news. And this one goes to the DC, the Democratic establishment. If you thought Biden was going to win and he was your safe pick, well, Adam Schiff just ruined that for you. Let's read the story. It's from page 6. Hunter Biden suspected of smoking crack in DC. They call it a jiggle joint. Trending now. I like the actual title says strip club, but the trending now says it's a jiggle joint. Okay. Hunter Biden was suspected of smoking crack inside a strip club where he dropped thousands of dollars during multiple visits. At the same time, he held a seat on the board of a controversial Ukrainian natural gas company, the Post has learned. Let me stop you right there. Let me tell you something. By every measure, Burisma was corrupt. We heard the testimony. It's almost like Adam Schiff wanted to make sure everybody knew Joe Biden's kid worked for a corrupt company. I kid you not. You had Volker Morrison. You had Kent. They're all testifying. Yeah, Burisma was kind of corrupt. So So all you're doing is dragging Hunter Biden's name through the mud. This is probably why so many independent voters have flipped on impeachment. They're like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me your witnesses think Burisma was corrupt and you're mad at Trump for asking about it? That is absurd. Especially, I think Elise Stefanik played a huge role in this when she asked Yovanovitch about. No. I'm mixing my stuff up. Anyway, the point is, we learned that everybody thought there was a conflict of interest, or at least the potential for one. We learned from George Kent that we probably should be investigating this, and we didn't. And Elise Stefanik pointed out, yes, it was Yovanovitch, that was the point, that during her preparation with the Obama administration, they specifically asked about this. Here's my question. Why didn't Joe Biden say, hey, I can't do this, my son's on the board, it's conflict of interest? Why don't they just get literally anybody else to do it? Well, here's the news. The incident, which took place at Archibald's Gentlemen's Club in Washington, D.C. late last year, represents the most recent alleged drug use by Biden, 49, who has acknowledged 6 stints in rehab for alcoholism An addiction that included a crack binge in 2016. A crack binge. Let me ask you something. If I told you that there was a dad and his son was a crackhead who got a job based off of his name and was facing prison time through a corruption investigation. If I told you that, and then I said, we think the dad intervened to protect his son, would you believe me? Yeah, I tell you what, you would. Anybody would do that for their kid. I know, even if they knew it was wrong. If it was your kid who was facing a probe and you knew he was on crack, and well, not every dad. Some dads might be like, you know what, man, like I've seen stories. It's like, if you can't fix them, perhaps they really do need to get knocked down a peg or two. But I'll tell you what, if the story was not about Biden, the press would be like, oh, of course the dad intervened. Think about it. This kid is doing drugs. He's throwing his dad's weight around, gets a job for a corrupt company that's under investigation. Then he calls his dad panicking, being like, Dad, what am I going to do? And his dad's like, don't worry, I'll come in, I'll take care of it. Come on. And the dad comes in and takes care of it for him. Wouldn't most dads do that, even though people don't hold their own accountable, okay? They think, I would rather make sure my kid doesn't go to prison or get indicted in this, plus it'd make me look bad. Look, because it's Biden, though, they're like, there's no evidence they're corrupt. Come on, dude. No evidence? Let me tell you something. Everyone testified Burisma was corrupt to an extent. The guy needed to be investigated. And your kid, who's a crackhead, is serving on the board, and no one knows why. And he's getting all this money, $83,000 a month, apparently. And he's smoking crack at the same time. I'm sorry, dude. If you're going to ask me about it, I think Daddy came in to save the day. Workers at Archibald's, located about 3 blocks north of the White House, said Biden was a regular there, with 2 bartenders and a security worker all instantly recognizing his photo and 1 worker identifying him by name. Security worker Ranko Petrovich said Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic frontrunner to challenge Trump next year, would routinely hole up in a VIP room and drink during his visits. Now that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. It's the crack I'm not okay with. There was a smell of burning styrofoam in the VIP room. We told him nothing illegal can go on in there, Ritter said. We didn't see anything illegal. After he was spoken to, the smell stopped. VIP employees suspected it was crack. Yeah, because we know what crack smells like, right? Hunter Biden, and it was the royal we, I don't know what crack smells like. Hunter Biden spent, well, I'm from the south side of Chicago, so I wouldn't be surprised if I did smell it before. Hunter spent thousands and thousands of dollars in the Archibald's VIP rooms and paid his bills with credit cards that didn't have his name on it. Well, that is weird, too. The dude is corrupt, man. Come on, this is the definition of corruption. I'm sorry. Going to strip clubs, smoking crack, getting jobs that we don't know why. It's literally mafioso corruption. It's a dude who's doing crack and getting paid to do God knows what in a foreign country for a company we heard under their impeachment testimony was corrupt. Can we please, okay? Can we please investigate what he was doing? And I'm sorry, if Joe Biden intervened and there was an investigation going on or not, I don't know. All I know is, listen, you want to have a debate about it? Fine. Let's dig up the facts. Let's get the information out. And remember, Democrats, you asked for this. You wanted to make sure everybody knew the name Joe Hunter Biden. Joe and Hunter Biden. Why was Trump talking to Zelensky about it? Congratulations. This is why. Now let me ask you another question. If I told you there was a crackhead who was the son of a government official who got a job on a corrupt company, and then his dad came in and intervened, are you going to get mad at Trump for being like, what's going on here? Okay? Trump apparently doesn't even drink. He's like a germaphobe. He's listen, man. This story, I tell you what. Let's read a little bit more and I'll come back to this. They say, the club generally required customers to use credit cards that matched official IDs, but Hunter was a bit of an exception. Whenever he was in town, he came in for 2 days in a row, disappeared, and came back a month later. Archibald's current owner, Dan Harris, didn't return an email seeking comment. At the time of the incident, Hunter was a board member of the Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma, which reportedly paid him as much as $50,000 a month. That job lies at the heart of an ongoing impeachment inquiry against Trump. Yeah, we get it. Trump denies quid pro quo, whatever. Hunter joined Burisma. Okay, we get it. Let me tell you something. Here, we got some more information. In an interview with ABC News last month, Hunter denied a suggestion that he wasn't qualified because he didn't have any extensive knowledge about natural gas or Ukraine. No, but I think I had as much knowledge as anybody else was on the board, if not more. That's not helping you, dude. A corrupt company with a bunch of random people who don't know anything about natural gas sounds weird. The dude running it is corrupt. He was apparently siphoning money from the taxpayers. And you're now saying, well, hey, nobody else had any knowledge about natural gas. It's not helping your case, dude. It's kind of just proving the point. Hunter, who's currently embroiled in a paternity... All right, you know what, man? All right, hold on. Here, we got a guy who apparently, like, I want to be careful because there's a lot of allegations. He apparently, like, cheated on his wife with his dead brother's wife. Then he hooked up with 28-year-old athlete, got her pregnant. He's smoking crack the whole time, going to strip clubs, gets on the board of a company that's apparently under investigation, or at the very least, the U.S. government wants it to be under investigation. And then when the heat turns up, Joe Biden pops up and says, if you don't have the guy fired in 6 hours, you ain't getting $1 billion. Now, all of this is predicated upon whether or not Viktor Shokin in Ukraine actually was investigating. Now, that's contested, I suppose, but let me tell you something. According to sworn statements and statements from members of parliament in Ukraine, Shokin was investigating Burisma. Now, maybe it's not true, but I'll tell you this. After Joe Biden came in and said, fire the guy, the new guy cleared the founder of Burisma of all wrongdoing. That does not sound like they wanted corruption to be uncovered. It sounded like they were covering up the corruption. Look, man, if you're going to try and convince me that this company is corrupt, we must investigate, and then you get a guy appointed who then clears that company of wrong, I don't believe you, dude. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. It sounds to me like you are like, how can we justify firing a prosecutor who's investigating corruption? He's not investigating corruption. So why clear the guy of wrongdoing? And it wasn't until 2018 they start looking into this guy again, but he's fled. He's gone. Weird, isn't it? So here we got crackhead Biden hanging out at strip clubs using credit cards that aren't even his. What is this? And Trump says, what's going on with the Bidens? And all of a sudden now we're in an impeachment inquiry. I'll tell you what, I'm actually kind of happy. I'm glad all this happened because right now what we're seeing is the Democrats failed miserably. There's a bit of catharsis in that. When I said, don't do this, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Stop. They did it. Well, there you go. Now you got some Democrats who resisted from the beginning. You got a safe blue Democrat in Michigan saying, I don't know about if we should do this. Even Adam Schiff isn't sure. And this is what you get. So maybe the plan all along was to make sure Hunter Biden would take down Joe. I mean, Obama won't even endorse the guy. Check this out. Look at this story. Obama once admitted Joe Biden doesn't have it for 2020 bid, said he doesn't have a strong connection with the voters. Obama won't endorse Biden. Maybe they don't like him. Maybe they didn't want him to do this, but what's their choice then? Elizabeth Warren? I don't know, man. They go on to say, there's a profile of Biden. We get it, man. Hunter was joined there by his former sister-in-law, Haley Biden, widow of his older brother, Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, who died of brain cancer in 2015. Hunter's first wife, Kathleen, obtained a divorce from him. Yeah. In his ABC interview last month, Hunter said he'd done estimable things and things I regret. Esteemable things, but was now in probably the best place I've ever been in my life. Why, did you stop smoking crack? His personal lawyer and spokesman, Jord Meziras, didn't return requests for comment. Well, let me stop, man. Let me be fair. He's suspected of smoking crack. For all I know, he was burning styrofoam in that room for some reason, or for all I know, the people at that VIP club just don't like the guy. But listen, apparently there's a story about how he returned a rental car with a crack pipe in it. And that's this falls in line with everything we know about the guy. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Are the Democrats just so bad at literally everything that it keeps backfiring miserably? I'm going to have to say, yeah. I think that's it. I think they'd like Joe Biden to win. I think he's a strong establishment candidate. Barack Obama won't endorse him, though, because they're scared of losing. That's what I think. I think Obama, he hasn't really endorsed anybody. And I think the reason is they don't know who's going to be the strong person. Look, if Obama comes out now and makes an endorsement, what's he going to do? Then change his endorsement when the primary's over? I think Obama will wait till the primary's over. It'll probably be, I think Biden will be the nominee, and he's done. He's done, man. Can you imagine a debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump? I used to talk about how Donald Trump would just go after him for being Sleepy Joe, old, mumbling, muttering. Nah. Trump's not going to do that. He don't need to anymore. You know why? Here's what Trump's going to say. He's going to say, your crackhead son working for a corrupt company, and you think people should vote for you? How can we trust you when your family is involved in this kind of corruption? He doesn't even have to, look, I tell you what, Trump's known for that branding. He's known for saying Sleepy Joe, Little Marco, Lion Ted, low energy, all that stuff. No. He calls him Crazy Joe and Sleepy Joe and all that stuff. He doesn't need it anymore. He can just literally be like, Joe Biden, whose son is a crackhead, He wants to be your president, and that's it. I'm sorry, man. When you want to run for office like this, your family does affect you. And it's unfortunate. I mean, Joe's presumably not a crackhead. I don't no reason to believe that he is. Granted, I mean, maybe if, apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, I don't want to accuse Joe of anything. He seems like a guy who served his country, a lifelong, public servant. That's fine. But I'll tell you what, man, your kid is weighing you down, and he's weighing you down bad. And I'll tell all those Democrats, I'll say this. You know what? If it turns out the Democrats wanted to knock Biden out of the race, congratulations, you nailed it. The impeachment inquiry, everything, it's perfect. It's exactly what you needed to make sure Biden couldn't win. If you wanted Biden to win and were hoping to hurt Trump, you know what's funny? A big plan, apparently, was that they wanted to inundate the press with negative stories about Trump. And what ended up happening? I tell you, first of all, the press is already overwhelmingly negative towards Trump, so they didn't really change anything. And I get it, CBS and a bunch of these other outlets were putting out fake news, fine, whatever. But what about this? Hunter Biden. You just gave the Republicans more ammo than they could ever hope for. Because we're going to be talking about how the Democrats look, period. And I tell you what, come 2020, there are going to be congressional races where Republicans are going to say, look at what the Democrats have become. Their front runner, intervening in a corruption case because his son was being investigated, turns out his son's smoking crack in a strip club. Is that who you want to vote for? Now look, my opponent here isn't a Biden, but this is the party they're defending. That will play out. I assure you, they're going to be super PACs, and they're going to show this. They're going to show a screenshot of this, and it's going to be all grainy and red, and it's going to go, Hunter Biden, accused of smoking crack in strip clubs? Not the leadership America needs, not what America deserves. We're going to see it all across the board. Those very obvious, political, you know what, you get the point. I'll wrap it up. I got to admit, it's frustrating. I kind of, at a certain point, you have to believe the Democrats do it on purpose. Seriously, it's just like, how can you fail this miserably over and over again unless you're trying to get this outcome? No idea. But I'll tell you what, if Obama doesn't like Biden, maybe they're really like Biden. Get out of the race. What are you doing? Whatever, man. I'll see you all at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out.